Recording has started. So today we want to look at some things in React. We are going to have an array here. Let's say array of numbers. And let's say this numbers is 8, 9, 10, 15. So we want to display all these numbers here. So we're going to do something. We can say numbers index 0 abinum. So are we together?
Yes.
Numbers index 1, numbers index 2, and numbers index 3, like this. But the problem is that let's assume we have a button here. And whenever we click on this button, we want it to generate a number and push it inside these numbers. So let's say I'll click on this button. I'll call on the function called myFun. So let's create the function together. First, myFun. Oops, what am I doing? Okay. So we want to generate a random number and push the number inside this place. So we can use the math.random. Then whenever I generate a random number, help us to floor it. Math.floor. Okay, before flooring it, multiply it by 10. Okay, then we have this. This will generate a random number and multiply it by 10, so that it's going to shift the decimal points. Then it will round it down. So next is this number. Now this is going to be a random integer that is lesser than 10. Let's make it maybe 100. So it can be any number that is lesser than 100. Next is we want to push that number into this place. So we can use numbers.push. So this is going to push it into this place. So we want this HTML part to automatically pick it up. Immediately we push it inside. When you want that to happen, this is going to change to state, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we say that we still need this array of numbers. So I'll cut this. Okay. So we say let numbers set numbers equals to use states. Then this will be the starting point. Remember, whatever you put here becomes the initial value of your states.
Yes.
So this is going to be the initial value of states. So of course you are not going to be using push, because if you want to do anything, you make use of this set numbers function. So remove this now. Remove this. So you're going to say set numbers Now the issue is that if you do it this way, this new number that is generated becomes the value of numbers. Do you get the problem? But that's not what we want. We want to actually push it into this place, into these numbers, not to make. Let's assume this is 12. Let's assume this generates 12. It means the value of numbers will now be 12. Do we get it? Whatever we put here, if I put 1 here, it means the new value of numbers. Immediately I click on this button, the new value of numbers becomes 1. But that's not what we want. Instead, we want it to push this 1 into this numbers array. Do we understand now?
Yes.
But remember that whatever you put here becomes the new value of numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to put an array there. We will now say ... numbers. So it's going to spread it. Remember the spread operator?
Yes.
Shall I follow now?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
It will spread it here. Then you can now generate your number. So what you're going to do is, let me bring this back. So we'll cut this out. We now say create an array dots numbers, or to make it neater, let's say new number. Let's create a variable called new number. So this new number is the new number generated. So you put it here. New number. Are we getting it?
Yes.
Yes, follow me.
Okay. So this is going to spread all the numbers, and this is going to put the new number there. So now it means the new value of numbers will now be whatever might be inside there initially plus the new number. Like I said in one of our classes, this is not the best way to handle it, especially when you are using the initial value of numbers. But for now, we still stick to this. When you get used to this, after you've completed my previous 2 assignments, I'll be able to teach us new things around this part. But for now, we'll still be using it this way. It's still going to give us the same results. So we'll stick to that for now. As time goes on, we're going to look at a better way to do this same thing. But let's move on. So, spread.
I have a question also.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it because the initial numbers, I mean the let numbers, is it because they are in array form? That is why the set numbers is being placed in an array too.
Okay. Partly because of that, but let's look at, if you understand how these set numbers work, you understand what you're doing very well. This is it. If I put 7 here, let's assume we just put new numbers there. If you put new number here like this, it means the new value of number will be, of these numbers, will be the value of this new number. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume new number is 80.
Okay.
Then numbers become 80. How then do you now say index 0?
Okay.
You know it's an array. You expect it to be an array, but this has changed the data type to number.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
So you still want to get whatever might be there initially. So you are creating an array. You now say spread numbers there. So it's going to take whatever might be inside numbers and split it inside. Or if it is confusing, we can say list of number list.
Okay.
Dot numbers. Then you can now put new number. Then this will now become number list. Is this okay?
Yes.
So you are spreading it, whatever might be inside this place, about that web at CV by. Then help us to add a new value. So you are now setting this number list as the new value of numbers. Hope you get it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's run it on the browser and see it. So I'm going to come here and say add number. Let's change this function name to something more descriptive. Add number. Post. Okay. To the browser. So these are the numbers. I'll break it.
Break.
Copy. Paste.
Backstroke. No.
Is that? What is this?
You said we should not be using that kind of we should not be writing self-closing tag that way anymore.
No. No. That's not what I said.
It's just break.
Single break.
But this double break.
It's because it's double. Okay. Yeah. It's double.
Am I right, sir?
Yeah, you can write it like this, or
you write a single break. Yeah.
But what you are not allowed to do is to do it this way without putting anything. This is too bad. Although B has a self-closing tag, but React will not allow it like this. So you can write it like this, or write it like this. Okay. So we have this. Let's add a new number now. Now, any number is actually being added, but somehow it's not displaying on the screen. That's because, even though we are using states, that's because the last thing we have here is index 3.
Sir, are we recording the class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The class is being recorded.
Okay.
So the last thing we have here is index 3. So there's no index 4, index 5, and all of that. So, and the problem is that if we put index 4, index 5 initially, before we have them, we just see undefined on your screen.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Just
that's
extend
okay.
them.
React is managing that part. It's not displaying, what's it called? It's not displaying this on the screen. But what is actually happening is that this is returning undefined. And but React has its own way of managing this part that it's not displayed, it doesn't do things like undefined false. If they are data types, so it's not going to display them. You know, undefined is a data type. False is a data type. Null is another data type under objects, like null is under objects. So null, undefined, and all of those things. React is not going to automatically display them on the screen. But the reality is that this is internally placing undefined on the screen, just that React is managing it well by not displaying it. Do you understand? Hello? Hello?
Boss.
Sean, me.
Yes, boss.
Okay. So we can't just come here and say that because we are going to add more numbers in the future. Kamako numbers index 5, index 6, and all of that to an array that only has 3 values. And the question is, even how long will this be? That's the question. Are we going to continue to add it to index 1 million just because we know that probably at a point in the future the user will click on this button? Do we understand the problem now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We can't keep extending this.
If you want to generate like random number that is up to 1 million.
So are we going to keep adding this here? So let's see how to handle that in React. So you come here and say, pick these numbers, this number array. You want to write JavaScript. So you put this curly braces. You now say numbers dot map. Remember your map in JS, Abi. Shall I want the map now? Map filter find the other functions. Shall I see?
Yes, boss.
But Ashe.
Okay. Now say numbers dot map. It takes 2 arguments. Give me the first one.
Index.
Good.
You know it's no good. What else is that? Give me the first one.
Number.
The value. Value. Got one B is the first argument. The second argument is the index. And the third argument is the array itself. But we only have reasons to use the array itself. So most times we only supply 2 values. So I want to about JS.
Yes, boss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the first value is the value inside it, which is this number. The second one is the index. Remember, this is higher order function, so you're going to put another bracket here. Index. Then you now return it like this. Shall I understand? So we would have done it like this.
Yeah.
Check what quality basis no. Bash machine in not why put JavaScript Latin core, Abi?
Yes.
But this time around you change this to parentheses like this. Because the might change name. That's all. But every other thing will remain constant. Show to you. So let's return a div and say this div should return hello world. So what do you think we will see on the screen? Hello? Hello?
Hi.
What do you think we will see on the screen? Okay. What is going to happen?
It's going to be.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's supposed to be showing hello world and each of the arrays as the elements of the new array to create. So that will be hello world, array number 0, 1
Okay.
to 4.
No.
So I won't see anything.
We will see something. What it's going to do is that I just love device JS, so well, I told us something at the beginning of this class that they have to make you know JavaScript demo. You see this map? I told you that it works like for each Sharanti Ibalashe JS.
Yes, sir.
And I said
Yes.
the only difference. What's the only difference between map and for each?
Map takes three arguments.
Okay. For each day coming.
Let me just stop like that.
Okay, well, thank you for the attempt, sir. Both of them take the same number of arguments. The difference is that map returns an array. For each does not return anything. Do we get it?
Yes, I can remember. Seriously.
Okay. So what this is going to do is that it's going to run whatever code we have there based on the number of items inside these numbers. So in this case, you see we are not using this number 1 inside this place. So it's not going to display these numbers or the index on the screen. It will only display hello world based on the number of items that we have inside these numbers. Currently we have 4 numbers here. So it's going to display hello world 4 times. Are we getting it?
Yes.
So let's go to the screen and see the results together. Shall we? So if you add another number, shall we put it in place? If you add another number, so to keep, it's going to display based on the number of items. So by one, you know, numbers in. Can we move on?
Now, let me take it again. You said that for map does not return.
It returns an
No.
Is for each that does not return array.
Yes.
For a map might return.
For each does not return.
Yes, for each does
Is
not.
that right?
Yes, for each does not
Yes.
return.
Yes.
Map returns an array.
Okay. But ìdàtàwà ń lo map nísìn kò return array àbí?
Nǹkan tó wá
Sorry,
ṣẹlẹ̀ ní.
I don't know what my head is thinking.
Remember, this is a JS file. This is actually
Yes.
returning an array. Nǹkan tó ń return ni JavaScript wá ń display nínú bíbá.
Okay.
Bó ṣe wà
Hello
ẹ́.
world there.
Yeah, because this is actually return. This is actually returning an array. Nǹkan tó wá
Mhm.
ń return. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Let me
can we
see.
check it? Can we inspect it on our browser's console?
Okay, you want to inspect these things there.
Probably it will show us probably with an array. No, displaying it on an HTML element. We can't really see if it's an array.
Except
Oh, no.
if you are going to do
I
that.
think-
Remember, this is HTML part. Remember, this is HTML part.
Yes.
This part is HTML. So, sending it to the console. If you want to use, it means you need to make some little tweak to this thing. To make some little tweak, let's tweak it a bit. Let's get a function. Let's call it display numbers. Const display numbers equal to this, like this. Then this number is going to get all of this, set it as a variable. Let's say my map, let's call it anything, equals to this. So at CBB by. Then you can now say return my map. So before returning, you can send it to the console. So if you want to see it, shall follow. So hello, sir.
Okay, yeah.
So we have this
Go
display
on,
numbers function. Is doing this. Then we have this map. We are setting it as my map. Then we are logging it to the console. Then we are returning it. You know, whatever you return anything, my display be.
Yes.
So with that now, we can now call on display numbers here. So guys, show you.
Okay. Go on. Share our nílò arrow function fún tẹ̀sí call display number bẹ́ẹ̀.
No, this is just a function. Mọ̀ pé nǹkan afẹ́jẹ́ kó pè tó bá ṣe dojú orí screen. Do you understand?
Okay, immediately. Okay.
Yes, instantly. Ó máa sáré bá wa ṣe nǹkan tó wà níbí.
Okay.
So that's good. Let's refresh. Check the console now. Okay, Oni, don't worry, we are going to solve this warning now. Shall we, Oni, baby? Our items here. Remember, you are not interacting directly with the DOM. But shall we put up you see 4 items, don't worry. If you click on this, I will go to the 5. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but that's not, we solve this problem now. Don't worry. Any questions so far? Check out this, Roger.
Yes, let's continue, sir.
Okay. So, but let's return it back to the way it was. Not that there's any problem with that. It's not something I used to. It just depends on personal preference. And if I like a buy, it's fine. I just prefer writing it directly in my HTML. I just prefer this. Okay. So, notice you saw one error the other time in the console. Let's fix this error together. Error. Each child list is a list with a unique blah 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 blah. So let's discuss what's going on. What is happening is that hello world, you see the 4 hello words start hello juice screen. The 4 of them line the coin alone display on Abina. This single line is responsible for displaying all the hello words. The problem with that is that the React is not so efficient to distinguish each of these hello words from one another. I come again. React is not so efficient like that to distinguish this from this. For instance, if for any reason, which we are going to look at as we proceed, if for any reason you change this hello word to something else, it will be struggling to identify the exact one that you change in Google. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because a single line is responsible for doing all of these things. So it's as you, since you are doing the same thing, it has to use identifying each of them to distinguish them from one. While it's going to, but it's consuming a lot of resources from React to do that. On resources to in order to be able to distinguish this from this from this from this. So if for any reason you write a function that changes any of them, can they change the third one? React will now start struggling to know the particular one that we just changed. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I think in other versions of React, I need to display anything. I'm actually error and I can fix it before it can proceed. Before we can do anything. But thank God for the newer versions. Actually. But the thing is that we want to tell React that this div, because a map can only return one item. A map can only return one item. So, but those items, they are difficult for React to distinguish from one another. So in this case, our map is returning a div, abi now.
Yes.
So those divs, that is finding it difficult to distinguish those divs from one another. So what you're going to do is that we will come here and add a property called key. This key must be something that is unique to each item that map is returning. I comment. This key must be something that is unique to each item that map is returning. In this case, we can just use the index. Since we know that two items cannot have the same index.
Yes, sir.
For the first hello word, the index will be 0. So key is 0. For the second hello word, the index will be 1. This I will be 1. For the third hello word, the index will be 2. So
Yes,
Yas
boss.
can now use this key to identify, to easily know how to track them. You share key in here to make it easier for React to track whatever happens to each of them. Let's assume you are sending down, let's say, an array of objects. Then you can use the ID. For instance, let's say we are sending down something that looks like this. Name is Taye. ID is 1. Let's get another object. Let's just make it 2. Name is Kenny. ID is 2. So we have 2 objects inside this array, Abby.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can track it using the num dot ID. Showing you again. Since we know that 2 items will not have the same ID, but so much the equipment you need the same ID, it's going to throw back an error also. Try and get to the difference. To make the battle need the same ID, so error. 2. This key must be unique to each item, but make it need the same key. In fact, I want to show you something. You can. Let's bring back our numbers. We can use these numbers as the key. As long as 2 numbers don't have the same ID, we can say, we can use this number as the key. You see this number is the key. As long as we don't have repetition here, unique numbers, lower and higher.
Is it repetition for an array as an element or each of the elements?
The idea is that whatever must be here must be unique for each item. So let's assume we have another 8 here now. So for the first one, the key will be 8, Abby.
Yes.
For the second one, the key will be 9. For the third one, the key will be 10. For the fourth one, the key will be 15. For the fifth one, the key will also be 8. So the art is going to shout.
So then it's not advisable.
Yes.
And
since we are generating a random number, only lo generate number to match the same one you be telling. You see, only generate random number and be back. I've been now.
Mm-hmm.
So only lo generate number to one will be tele. So that's not advisable. So it's best to use. It's better you use index, but the best to use is still the ID. If each item has an ID, then use the ID. But since we don't have ID, then we can use the index. Try and follow.
yes, we are.
Yes.
So let's go back now. Then you see the other would have gone now. In the terminal now, you see Kosimba now. Okay, let's move on. The next is we want to display these numbers. So what do? We want to display each of these numbers now. Killer fashion, killer machine. After display each of the numbers. Killer machine, yes sir.
To display those numbers, you have to render it in the return.
Okay. So where?
How? Yes, I'm going to render that number list.
Okay. Where?
Are we going to have it like concatenated to hello world?
No, we just want to have the numbers alone without hello.
Okay. Then we are going to write it display too.
Okay. So how should we do that? You are teaching me what to write, what to do.
Yes. So in this place, you can put curly brackets and put number list.
Like this?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Let's go to browser. Oh, what it's hello. Number list is not defined. So what do we do? Remember, number list is a local variable to this function, so we'll recognize outside the function.
Set numbers.
Local variable.
Local set numbers. So local set
No.
numbers. Functions are not valid as a React child. This may happen if you return a component instead of this. So, okay. What should we do?
Network, yeah, network trouble.
I think by Mr. Jacob.
Okay. Yes, Etilo set number. At some point, your voice was breaking. I thought it's a network here.
Okay.
So I can use numbers.
Okay. Numbers. Okay. Bye. Okay. Numbers. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Aha.
Hello, boss.
Nǹkan tá a rí ni kò fún wa nǹkan tá a fẹ́ o. Ó yá o. Kí ni ká ṣe o? Nǹkan tá a máa lò ó ní num. I told us ìgbà tá a ṣe JS pé this num represent each value here. Mo dẹ̀ sọ lálẹ́. It represents each of the value here. So for the first one, num will be 8. For the second one, num will be 9. For the third one, num will be 10. And for the fourth one, num will be 15. Ṣó ń yé wa?
Ben.
Num we might represent each value in this array. It represents each value. So when we get there now, you see this. So when we click on this button, a new number is generated. 75 will generate 37.
Now, actually, what I thought.
Okay. Tell us what you thought, sir.
Ó dà kí nǹkan kan ni mo get wrong tí ó ti wá clear from the beginning. And what I got wrong was that I thought for each number tó bá máa generate, right?
Okay.
Yes. I thought it was going to be an array for each item. I mean, new array tó bá máa generate, it will be like an array for each of the item. Mi ò mọ̀ kí ó máa mú ní ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni.
Nǹkan tá a kàn ṣe ń bì ìsìn bí pa lo push o bí pa n push náà sínú bí ló ṣe rí báyìí bá ṣe yá ń dùn.
Yes, mo ti get ẹ̀sìn yẹn, mo ti get ẹ̀sìn. Nǹkan tí mo rò tẹ́lẹ̀ ni mo kọ́kọ́ sọ yẹn.
Okay. So ṣé oúnjẹ wa lọ ká máa tẹ̀síwájú àbí ká sinmi bí?
Náà a ṣe lè tẹ̀síwájú.
Okay. So
tá a bá tẹ̀síwájú àwọn nǹkan tí a bá get dáadáa tá a bá tún wò ó máa bára wọn mu dáadáa.
Okay. Let's add the delete button, but we can't add it here. Remember I said this can only return one item. So it can return 2 items by. Try and get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will create component new then.
I'll CBB. button. Oh, something like that. So let's see. So this is still returning one item. Okay, yeah. This is still returning one item. Div below in return, you can, to make it clearer, let's do it this way so that it's clearer now. So we are still returning this div. In the div, do we understand?
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the code on line 14 can only return one item.
Yes.
But I thought we have, on line 12, we have an open tag and we have the closing tag. It's still referring to one item.
Okay, like this.
Like from line 12 now.
This is line.
This line 12 is an open tag.
Yes.
And at least, I think the closing tag will be on line 20 something. So yes. I think it should recognize it as one item. Do you understand?
Okay. Now there are two things here. A component can only return one item. One.
Okay.
And a map, when you're running a map like this in your HTML, it can also only return one item.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's what is happening now. A component can only return one item. That's why we have this. And we're also running a tag, this map like this in your, when you're running a tag, a map also can only return one item. So potentially, normally, even normally, you should only return one item. So by GS gone one item, not for any map later. Only that is not going to throw an error. But the second one will not be displayed.
Okay.
Remember, JavaScript ignores everything after map. So by no function, oh my ignore. So it's going to actually return just one item. Just that it's not going to throw an error. So another item. So what we're just doing is we are putting an item, just one item here, that we can now put as much items as we want inside it. So what it's going to do is that, remember, this div will be displayed based on the number of items inside these numbers.
Yes.
So we have num and we have a delete button beside it. For the second, we have a num and a delete button. For the third one, num and delete button. And I don't like that. So let's go to the browser. Show you.
Wow. Then I guess.
Okay, next is we want to make this delete button work. So that when we delete this, it's going to remove that particular one. So let's get a function together. Const delete number equals to this. So what this is going to do is that when we click on this button, we want to call on this function delete number. So we're going to say on click delete number. But the thing is, this same delete number don't share from both boys. Please, can we hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So this same delete number don't share from both boys. This same delete number. So we need to find a way of knowing the one that click reload. For instance, let me come and just say alert. Alert. So taba click lórí ele or alert. Taba click lórí ele or alert. Taba click lórí ele or alert. So kò tí mo lè gangan ta click lórí gbogbo ẹ̀. Are we getting it?
Yes.
Yes.
So next is we are going to pass something unique. So we can easily pass the index. Okay. So in that case, you pass the I. Since I is there, then we can pass it here. So this is save it now. You can save it as IND or whatever you want. So I can say IND. Any question? Showing you what?
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to this place and see what happens. Shall we put 0 delay alert? Shall we put 1 delay alert? ṣe rí pé 2 lélẹ̀ alert ṣe rí pé 3 lélẹ̀ alert. Next, ìkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe wọ́n jẹ́ ká fi ọkàn balẹ̀ pẹ̀lú nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe next. Ṣáwọn ti map filter find àbí? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Why tẹ̀ fi ṣe apariwo hey? Ẹ ti gbàgbé ó ti dáa.
Man filter reduce, man filter
Man filter find.
Find, reduce, no, I'm there, and all of those things. But I took my time to actually explain 3 for us: the map, the filter, and the find. And this is mo ṣàlàyé mi pé mo kà máa lo mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta dáadáa ní tàbá dé React. Máa lo mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta dáadáa. So next is we want to delete the particular one. A fẹ́ yọ kúrò nínú ibi báyìí nínú numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to say numbers dot filter. So this filter takes 2 values. The first is the value, while the second is the index. Now I'm going to do something somehow tricky. Okay, for now, to make it easy to understand, I'll say index. Let's first start with this. You should be time learn you or index. So let's nums equals to this, and I will say console log nums. So mo ní ìbéèrè fún wa. Taba bẹ́lẹ̀ ṣe wà bá ti bá kíkò rí first one kí ló máa log sí console based on this quote. If I click on the first one kí la máa rí nínú console. Hello, senior developers.
Awesome.
Agba devs.
Ẹ̀yin làgbà dev.
Well,
Nothing, sir.
Okay, please explain why we have nothing. Ṣàlàyé. Don't worry, it doesn't matter even if you are wrong. But I want to understand how you came across that note, like how you came about that only. Don't know, so I'll be able to know ibi tí a ní láti address. Báwo ni ẹ ṣe come about nothing?
Okay. What I'm thinking is that the var, the first value here,
Okay.
is not being called in another place.
Okay.
We only have the index of those numbers,
Okay.
which are index 1, 0, 1, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So let's explain what's going on.
I don't really know what I'm saying, but I just need to say
What's
something.
Okay.
What will be the result?
Of what?
If I click on the first one, this first one, what will I see in the console?
Console not number the filter. It will adjust the. Okay.
so
Okay.
The value, index.
Active. It's not like this index.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So something Okay.
Okay, bóyá filter yìí ló ń da yé o. Bóyá kí n change as find. Kí lè lè máa fi wà? Nǹkan tí ń wò pé bóyá tó kó jẹ́ filter ni ẹ ṣe confuse wa. Látà bá lo find ó yọ máa yọ. Okay, now let me explain it because of our time. Nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní. Remember for the first one, I is 0, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Then for the second one, I is 1. For the third one, I is 2. Or for the fourth one, I is 3. Show you whatever.
Yes.
Now if I click on the first one on the button, this button of the first one, this I will be 0, Abi?
Yes.
Yes.
It means that 0 will be sent as value of IND. Abi now?
Yes.
Parameterized function. This I will be sent as a value of IND, meaning IND will be 0 for the if I click on the first one. If I click on the second one, I will be 1, and this one will be sent as a value of IND. IND becomes 1. Show you Wala.
Yes.
Okay. So, but let's go back to the first one. So let's say assume we clicked on the first one. I will be 0, and this 0 becomes the value of IND. So let's now focus on how this filter works. I explained to us when we did JS. I said when you have an array and you say dot filter like this, and you pass two values to it, a, b, comma b, and I say return, let's say a greater than 5, it's going to return all the numbers inside this array that is greater than 5. Show you.
Yes.
But if I say b greater than 5, it's going to return all the numbers that is at, like all the values that is at index 6 and above. Shall I get there? So let's say this array looks like this. Okay, so this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, this is index 3, this is index 4, this is index 5, this is index 6. So it's going to return this place to this place. Do we understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because we are saying b greater than 5. So if you now say b equals to 5, what will this return?
All the numbers that is on 5, that is on index 5.
Good. It will return the number at index 5. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to return 12. Are we following?
Yes, the following.
So this is going to return 12. That particular one, ni return. So that means B now represents each index. B will first be 0. Then B becomes 1. Then B becomes, I'm going to check a layer con. B becomes 2. B becomes 3. B becomes 4. Then B becomes 5. What's the DBT on? Shall I get there?
Yes.
So this is going to return. But I told us that one difference between filter and find is that filter returns an array, find does not. So even though it's returning a single number, this value, the return value, will still be inside an array like this. Boshema return any. Shall I get it? Boshema return any. Even though it's just one number, add basino array be. Ṣé nǹkan tí mo ṣàlàyé dé ibi ìta ni kò yé ká tó tẹ̀síwájú? If you get it, say I get it.
I get it to this point.
Okay, let's now see how we are going to bring this into our own code. So we know this index now, this index here will first be 0. Like later it becomes 1. Later it becomes, this index is serving as our B. Showing you one.
Yes,
Yes.
So this index is serving as our B. It's first be 0, then it becomes 1, it becomes 2, it becomes 3, till it gets to the end of these numbers. So what you're doing here is that return anyone that has this index, that is where this index is the same as this IND don't worry, that is the I you are sending to it. So if I click on the first one, that's like saying return index where this is equal to 0. Return the value where this index is equal to 0. Let's assume we clicked on the first one. So it's going to now return a value that looks like this 8 lawa 1 because that's the value at index 0. If you click on the second one, if you click on the second, the value of IND becomes 1. So it's going to return the value at index 1. What's the value at index 1? That's 9. So it's going to return a lay.
Okay. I get it.
So the third one, no, return 10. The last one, return 15. Because these are the values inside this array. Check out this tiny code. So when we go to the console now, oops. See, you see, React is interesting, isn't it? Okay, so when we click on the first one, we have this. Shall we 8? But when we click on the third one, shall we 10? When we click on the check out this iwájú. Hello. Okay. So next thing we want to do is that the result we want is the opposite of what we actually want. The result we are getting is the opposite of what we really need. And the reason I'm saying that is because what we need is an array that has all the numbers except these 8. Let's assume I click on the first one. We want an array that has all the numbers except this one. Show you one. Except the one we clicked on. Do we get it? Hello? So Lenny, please, are we together?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So what we want is that we want an array that has all the numbers except that particular one that we clicked on. So let's assume I click on 15. I need 15 people, but we want an array that we have every other thing except that 15, not the one with 15. So meaning that we're going to tweak this a bit to do that. So we're now going to say that is not equal to. So this gives us what we want. Show you. So this is going to return an array that has everything except the index that we clicked on. So we can now say set numbers. It now serves us to set numbers like this. So this is going to set numbers. So with this now, our application is working fine. Delete. We can generate a new number. Or we can delete if you want to. You can delete anyone. Shani Ibere, Sister Moji àti Mr. Jacob ti lọ. I think network issue. Shani Ibere. So let's stop here tonight. We continue from here tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do another thing now that will make us to revisit this. Then we now add more things to it. We add more things to it. Question on everything we've learned so far. Okay. In the absence of question, Mr. Jacob, Sister Moji.
Yeah, it was network actually.
Okay. Let me quickly go over it. Eléyìí wà àbí? There be.
Yes, they be yes.
So mo sọ pé tá a bá click lórí first one, result àmàrí máa jẹ́ àárẹ̀ tó rí báyìí, àbí?
Yes.
Tá a bá click lórí second one, result àmàrí tó máa rí báyìí. Good. But nǹkan tá a need is actually the opposite of this result. We want a new array that we have, let us know we click on the first one. We want a new array that we have all the values except that particular one that we clicked on. Do you get it?
Yes.
We want a new array. Ká nípa click lórí first one, but our new array tó máa ní gbogbo ilé. Ká ní pé
Àwa yọ delete kúrò níbẹ̀.
ó máa wá yọ ilé ta delete. I need the new array tó máa rí bí ilé. Ká la click lórí third one ni, I need the new array tó máa rí bí ilé. Àwa yọ 10 ní kúrò níbẹ̀. Sorry, 8 will be the first one. So we need a new array that will be like this, except that particular one that I click on, which is the opposite of what is here. Do we get it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So for that reason, we are now going to change this to the opposites, not equal to.
Okay.
So this, when we click on the first one now, you are going to have this as the value of nums now.
Hello, sir.
That's one.
There's something I'm not clear about.
Okay.
This index,
Okay.
it represents our index, normal index now.
Yes.
The 0, 1, 2.
Yes.
What about this IND? What is it really representing?
It's the one collecting this I. Well, when you click on this button, it'll map a function.
Okay.
So to click, they will send this I as the value of IND.
Okay, this I as value of IND.
Yes. We must send the I as the value of IND.
Oh, okay. This key is the one carrying the I.
No, it can't one be the I. It can't have to be.
Yeah.
Or in the second, when you know the way map works is that the second value of map represents index.
Okay.
So this I also represents index of each item here.
Okay.
The reason to motion then it means I will pass taye here. This key is just to avoid that error to one being. It's not the one sending it. It is whatever you put here. Logically it's sending B. Do you get it? But this taye now represents each index. Taye will first be 0, then taye becomes 1, then taye becomes 2, and like that.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that's the way map works is that the second value of map, just like same thing with filter. The second value represents index. It doesn't matter bóyá mo lo index, nǹkan tó bá wù mo lè lò. Mo lè pè ní Mojísọ́lá. But the second value represents index. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
So we are sending this I now to this place. So when you click on this button, for anyone, we must send the I as the value of this IND. So now I finish a comparison in B. Do you understand? Check out this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So next is we now come here and say set numbers. We now set nums. So the value of numbers will now become nums. But remember, nums contain every other item except the one you clicked on. Show you what I'm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so our application now works fine. So now I can delete, I can add new numbers. I can delete them if I want to also. I can add and add and add. Isn't this interesting?
It is.
Okay, so that's that part. So you can filter. Then this var, well, I don't like the way I'm not using it for anything. So, but I can't just use index. If I use index, it assumes that it represents value. Remember, the first argument of filter represents each value, while the second represents. So I don't want that. Instead, I can start with an underscore. I'm saying a number is here, but I'm not using, like a value is here. So a value is here, but I'm not using that value. But is fine too. Like low. The only reason why you need to put it is because of this index. So that in that case you can represent with an underscore. A value is there, but well, I don't just like the way position. I'm going to show you one.
Yes.